What up? It's your What Incredible Man, and yes, I am back at it again, and this is my discussion slash review for 911 Season 3, Episode 16. And dude, it's coming to a close. Next week is going to be a two-part season finale, and this episode to me, it kind of felt like from the very beginning with the whole fire outbreak in the apartment complex and Buck saving this deaf lady, it felt like a Buck episode. Let's get into it. Yet again, man, this episode was actually really, really good. I mean, it was very, very tear-jerking a little bit because there was a few moments that I actually teared up throughout this whole episode. And like I said a few moments ago, that it felt like a very Buck-oriented episode, but like midway through that changed, and then it kind of became like a Hen type episode as well. So we kind of got a little mixture between Hen and Buck this episode, but solely it focused more on Buck, and we kind of see what Buck's thought process is with everything and everybody else having all of this personal stuff to take care of after shift, and that kind of weighed on him a lot this episode. So they do what they do, they're firefighters, and they get the call and they go to this apartment complex, and there's this huge fire breaking out and they're saving people. Then they get this one dude and he was like, well, you guys have to save GLaDOS as well. And with me, with them thinking that GLaDOS was a cat, I assumed GLaDOS was a cat, but GLaDOS was an actual person. And this was so cool because I never knew this. I mean, I'm not like a first responder or anything, so there's no particular reason why I should know this, but I didn't know that there was a particular method for deaf people to actually contact 911 if they live like that. I didn't know that TTY where the deaf lady called Mattie was so cool. I think that was so nice, and it was wonderful to see her. And she was panicking as well, but she was calmly typing on her little thing to convey to Mattie what she needed, where she was, and I'm glad that they saved her. And we see Buck getting to be the hero along with Eddie. They both ran up the building right beside it, and they saved the lady, and it was nice. And Buck felt some type of way, and that led him going to the bar. He wanted to hang with everybody from the 118, but they all had personal things going on, and that's where the episode to me felt more like a Buck-oriented episode. So he decided to go to the bar by himself, and he met an older firefighter, and they had drinks, they got to talking, and the dude shared some of his life story with Buck. And Buck, listening to this dude, kind of felt like, well, maybe this is what I'm doing. This is me. This is what's happening to me. And I felt like it's not what's happening to Buck, but he felt like that, so I can understand where he's coming from, because that's what he felt. And the thing with Buck is he always wants to help, but he not so much as he's selfish, but it comes across as selfish, if you catch my drift, because he wanted to help this dude come in contact with his long lost love, because the dude had so much other stuff going on. He wasn't in contact with any of his friends from his old firehouse, and a lot of the people, I'm assuming, probably died, and they only come in contact when there's a funeral for one of their old members. So, and he doesn't have any kids, he doesn't have a wife, he's lonely, and Buck saw that as an opportunity to help him and also help himself. I guess that's what he was kind of going for, but it came across so rude because they met this lady, and she has dementia, and that brought up some very hurtful feelings for Red, and kind of for Buck as well, because it kind of took him back to his whole Abby train of thought, and we know how that ended, and it was so hard, and Buck still hasn't really gotten over Abby. He and Abby had a wonderful relationship, because we remember for the longest he was trying to actually get her to go on a date with him, but they had a very wonderful relationship, and it ended so abruptly. But she never left Buck's mind. She was always there, constantly in his mind, and we see now, even in season 3, that he's still thinking about Abby, and he's conveying all of this thought process, and Red was super hurt. when he found out that the chick had dementia, she kind of ran him off, and he wanted to hold on to that memory of her remembering him, and he couldn't do that because now he knows that she has dementia, and he felt like he was just hurt. He didn't want anything to do with Buck anymore. And in that moment, we see Buck kind of feeling guilty and thinking about Abby, thinking about Red. So much was going on with Buck, and he even conveyed that to his sister. And she was constantly telling him that, that's not you. But he kind of just broke down and was like, well, I feel lonely. Everybody else has something going on. And Mattie, don't get me wrong, but you always leave. You were always the leaver. You, like, even when you were dating other people before Doug, you left, and you left me. And I love what he said when he said that. He was like, I'm not mad, but I'm just saying you're never the one that's left there holding the bag or being this type of way or being hurt or anything. And Mattie couldn't really say anything except for just listen to what Buck was saying. And we see Buck agonizing pretty much this whole episode until towards the end. But we also see some stuff going on with Hen as well. They're on their call, and we see this dude from the fire rescue. He gets saved. Hen saves him. She diagnoses everything. She even tells the ER, I want to say he's the ER doctor, or like the head ER person right there, because he met them both times in these cases, this episode. And she tells him everything that's wrong with this dude, and we come to find out later that the dude died of a heart attack. And she was like, how? Because I told them everything that was going on, what was wrong with this dude, so there was no reason why he should have died. And she felt some type of way, and we learn that this is her also feeling some type of way from the cello girl when she was driving the ambulance and hit the girl. So she's feeling some type of way, and she refuses to have this happen on the next call. And the next call happens to be this chef that's taking like a whipped cream topper or whatever. It exploded and it hit him like dead in his chest, and it's like crushing on his aorta or nicked his aorta or something. And they're in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and she is in her mind, she's kind of replaying everything that happened with the cello girl and with the other patient that recently died. And she was like, I refuse to lose this patient. So she does a thoracotomy in the ambulance, and it goes off without a hitch. It turns out wonderful. They even save him in the ER. But it could have went a different way. But I'm glad she did. But then we have that same ER doctor trying to bash Hen, or well, you broke the rules and da 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 da. And yeah, I understand where he's coming from. But you got to understand where Hen's coming from too. I told you what was wrong with last dude, and I know you guys were backed up and you had a lot of cases going on. But at the same time, you neglected what I told you about this man, and that's what led to his death when it could have been easily fixed. And I feel like that's why she was so agonizing over everything when it came to the later patient, because of what happened with the first one. But it went off without a hitch, and she even saved his life. And the surgeon that was there called her a doctor by mistake, and the dude was so adamant. It was like he was upset because it turned out perfect, and he was like, well, she's not a doctor, she's an ambulance, she's a EMT. That doesn't matter. She saved this dude's life. Can you give her the credit? And the surgeon was like, well, congratulations, EMT Wilson. So it was so nice to see that moment. But then we have some other stuff that went on in this episode as well. Athena catches a case where this dude and his son were on this scooter, and I knew an accident was waiting to happen. The way they kept showing these different scenes and different angles of the shots, I knew an accident was waiting to happen. And they come in contact with a drone, and it crashes, and they flip all over in the air. They get hurt. The dad gets stuck in a bush. But we come in contact with this dude that's making up this wonderful excuse like, oh, I'm a realtor, I'm looking at all these houses and everything. And Athena arrests him, get him into jail, but because he's flying a drone without a license or whatever, it's a federal issue. But the feds decide to kick him because they don't want to drive downtown and deal with this. So they decide to cut him. But Athena checks the footage that was on the drone, and it finds out he's a peeping Tom. But he's so much more than a peeping Tom, which we find out at the very end of the episode. He's a serial rapist, and he has bukus of footage in his garage or whatever. Like, of him actually committing the crime, him peeping on people. It was just so much footage. And dude, these next 2 episodes are going to be, well, it says 2-hour event, so I'm thinking it's got to be 2 episodes. But these next 2 episodes are going to be legit. And I love 911, man. I really do. And in the next 2 episodes, we're going to see Connie Britton. She's coming back, aka Abby. And we're going to see, like, there's going to be like a massive train wreck. And I seen that Athena is going to be hurt as well. And I wanted to give a notice to the lieutenant that was in this episode, Sasha Royaz, or Roz, however you want to say it, is Captain Sean Renard from Grimm. I absolutely love Grimm. Grimm is one of my favorite TV shows. So I just wanted to give a huge shout out to dude, man. I was so, like, every time I see someone from one of my favorite shows or movies or whatever, I just have to acknowledge them in something, man. This is your boy Nick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.